Yo, you're tuned into the First Day Out podcast, the podcast where we're interviewing formerly incarcerated individuals. We'll be talking about a little bit of everything. We'll talk about what they did to land them in prison, what was their experience while they were there, some lessons they learned, but most importantly, we're talking about what they're doing to make sure they don't go back. My name is Katia. I'm your host. I'm a criminal defense attorney in the state of Florida, I'll say. I am passionate about justice, second chances, and reintegration into society. Before we get into it, we always start each episode off with a segment called Not Legal Advice. That's when I drop a legal gem on you, but it is not legal advice. I do not represent you because you're tuned into this podcast. My not legal advice gem for today, I'm going to talk about probation. If you're on probation and you do not turn yourself in when you're supposed to, we call that absconding. Now, let's say that you're on probation and they stop, you get arrested for a new crime and they can't prove that crime. It is safe to turn yourself in. Most people on probation know you can't get a bond if you don't turn yourself in. So that's where the fear comes from of having to sit. But what will happen is they will drop all of the charges and charge you only with absconding. What that means is you are on the run. And that alone is enough to convict you of violation of probation and possibly send you to prison. We see Mr. Jackson over here laughing because we'll get a little bit more into what absconding is all about as we talk to him. So I'm not going to do too much. I'm going to let him tell his story, introduce himself, and then we'll get into the interview.
Uh, Tony Jackson Jr., aka King Faze, you know what I'm saying? In here for the interview. Just fresh out, 24 days.
Yes. And before we get too far into it, I'll go ahead and let you all know this is Tony Jackson Jr. If you watched the first episode, you know that we interviewed Tony Jackson Sr. So that means you also know that this is my brother.
That's my pops.
Yep. That is the pops. This is my brother. We stated in the last episode, Tony has 7 children. This was almost the baby. He's the second from the last one. So I'm happy to have him here. I'm glad to see you home, bro. I'm glad that you're here. So, and thank you for doing this interview for me. Okay. So I have the pleasure of knowing just a little bit more about his case because not only is he family, but I also represented him on the case. So we'll start off, even though we're siblings, I'm actually going to let him tell about himself because honestly, we did not grow up together. From the last episode you were here, I met most of my well, not most of them, all of them, when I was 15. So that first part of our lives, we didn't have the pleasure of growing up together. So I let Tony give you a little bit about his life. I do know a lot of stuff about his growing up too. So I asked him a couple questions in between there, just some stuff that I'm curious about that we never had the chance to talk about. So go ahead, Tony. I want you to go ahead and start off about just growing up and honestly growing up without Tony, our daddy. We don't call Big Tony Daddy most of the time, honestly. We call him by his name. So I'll say, just tell us a little bit about growing up with Tony being incarcerated and what effect did that have on you, if any? Do you feel like it did?
Well, be honest, it really, my mom was my mom and dad. So she took up for the part that he missed. But, it was hard, learn how to play sports without him, you know what I'm saying? Didn't have him for Father's Day, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, I grew up in a pretty I would say country home, Southern style, you know what I'm saying? So I got a good upbringing, but when you get stuck in the streets, you start seeing a little money, the fast men that get to you when you're young, you know what I'm saying?
I definitely understand that. Can I ask you, I know from growing up you were an athlete. What do you think drove you to the streets?
Really,
what was the shift?
Playing football, that was everything to me. I tried my best, try to make it to the NFL. But when you got family at home that calling for money constantly, when you got people that need you, you always think about them when you're gone. So, I might stay in Illinois, I stayed in Kentucky, I stayed in Mississippi. But the whole time I got a phone call from my mom, my little brother and sister calling me like, hey, I need help. So automatically, okay, this scholarship or this financial aid money ain't good enough. So what the first thing I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do what I taught when I was young. I'm gonna go back me up some drugs. I'm gonna sell me some weed or something. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Now, when you say what you was taught when you was young, where do you think you picked that part up from?
Like hang around the projects, hang around the older cats, you know what I'm saying? People that were like maybe 4 or 5 years older than me, they out on the block, they been out there the longest. So, you know, I'm paying attention to them. I'm trying to figure out how can I get me some lunch money.
Yeah, yeah. Let me ask you something. Cause something that I noticed when I started to come around when I actually after I met y'all, right? And I would come to Perry here and there. What I noticed whenever you and even our other brothers, whenever y'all was out in the streets, doing something bad, like people will always be like, y'all just like y'all daddy. But they would say it almost like it was a good thing. Like it was a good thing to be just like that, even though those was the negative parts of him. Because they might have said it about the sports too. But let y'all be fighting, let y'all be out there, all of this.
They embraced it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They like, oh, you just like your daddy. But you gonna be just like your daddy. You gonna be the one. You gonna be the one. But it ain't about it. They ain't talking about the sport. They talking about the streets when they say that.
Exactly. So that's what I wanted to ask you. Like hearing that and people glamorizing that, what do you think that had any kind of effect on you that you didn't think nothing was wrong with it because everybody made it seem like it was all good?
Of course, I want to be a young super thug. Oh, you know, I want to be a baby super thug like my pops. You feel me? That's all I knew right then.
Right. Yeah. I always noticed that and I was like, how they just like him and they didn't even grow up around him. They ain't see that. Y'all encouraging
Grandma told us enough about him.
Yeah. Yeah. So I always felt like that, like, oh, y'all encouraging the craziness or whatever. Let me ask you something. So you were saying how we transitioned, you was growing up, your mom was everything, but you were in the streets, and when you played sports, the streets is what you knew. So when you finally figured out like this football shit is over with because of all of the stuff that happened with maybe the getting in trouble, getting sent back and all of that, how that made you feel?
I felt like I let everybody down. It took me years to get over that, man. I was depressed as hell. Like, you know what I'm saying? I turned to drugs more than anything, trying to deal with it. You know, I got my grandma, I go in the house, we watching football. She be like, I'm supposed to be watching you on TV. You know, that'll eat a kid up. You feel me? I'm 20, 21, you feel me? I'm fresh back. They don't want to see me home. They want to see me on the field somewhere. So I start coming around then, you know what I'm saying? It's hard for a person to look at you when you know they ain't what they want to see.
Yeah, and not only hard for a person to look at you, feel like it's hard to look at yourself because you don't let everybody down and feeling even disappointed in your own self, right?
Big facts.
Yeah, I can see that. And when you say you turn to drugs, would you say you turn to drugs just to being in the streets and selling the drugs, but also using drugs and all of that?
Using more. I party. I look at it like I say it's partying, but it's more of a like a relief or a like for me to let go. Like, okay, I get this stress off my chest, but it don't last long, so you're gonna keep chasing it.
If anything, can we say self-medicating?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, trying to ease up that depression, so self-medicating. Okay, so when was the first time you had your encounter with the criminal justice system?
First time, I want to say I was probably like 15, 16 at the skate ring fighting, and I'm trying to walk away from it. They calling me back, and I'm like, no, I ain't that person. But they know me. They know me. They know my dad. They know my whole family. So I can't. I'm lying, but they know I'm lying. So when I turn my back, he ran behind me and grabbed me like, I know that's you. I know you, Tony Jackson. And that was like, he made me sit there until my mama got up. But that's my first encounter.
Oh, okay. The police knew it was you just because of knowing your family.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's small town. It's hard to hide your identity when you Tony Jackson's son in Perry, Florida.
Listen, I ain't even gonna hold you. I just was looking at some property to buy there, and when they asked me did I have family there, I said, you know, my uncle Anthony Lamar, he's a writer. He writes for the paper.
You can't. That's the best name to use.
Yep. So I definitely understand. Like that's the first person I said because I didn't want them to be like, oh no, not because of Tony. Like not even to knock him. I just know the association that come with it. You know what I'm saying?
Man. You know it's like a big thing. You know his name Jackson. Who cares?
Yeah, for sure. So after that happened when you was a teenager, I want to ask you something. So, because in my head, like with something like that, and you know, they already got me labeled, they stereotyping me, they watching me. That wasn't like let me try to stay out their way.
Nah, more like NWA. Like I don't care, y'all gotta stop me. I'm gonna do me. Like I was young, I was bold. I was young and bold. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I had to prove a point or like let it be known, I'm him.
Got you. Was the I'm him just because of one who you were? You was the man, you played football, all of that. People always even bring you up. But also because of your family and the association.
Right, football brought a different light, but the family name, that made it even better. I got a big family pair. I got my mama and daddy's side, so I got that. When you say, oh, Tony Jackson, or they think Burning, or they think Whites, you know what I'm saying? Automatically, I represent them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it's almost like upholding even the negative parts of it because you can't look soft.
All of it come with it. It's like an image. You gotta walk a certain way, you gotta talk a certain way, you gotta stand for something. If you don't, you ain't doing it right.
Right.
Yeah.
I definitely understand that just from the time that I spent there. So even though you had that experience at 15, when was the first time you went to jail?
First time I went to jail, I want to say I was in Illinois the first time I went to jail, sis. Mm-hmm. I was in school. Police come up on us. My dog, he threw the weed on the ground. I didn't have nothing on me. But being the guy I am, I took the charge. Yeah. And that was the first time I went to jail.
Because you couldn't snitch.
I couldn't tell.
Right.
It wasn't in me. I couldn't tell. And brother knew it. He threw it right by my foot. He looked at me like, damn, you ain't gonna tell him? Yeah. I ain't tell. Mm-hmm. First charge I ever took. First time I ever got in trouble.
When you were up there and you got in trouble, how long you stayed in jail? Because you up there with no family, no nothing.
Luckily, I had a little money and like some friends that really cared about me. They helped me bond out. But I ain't do the right thing when I bonded out. I went on the run. Had a warrant out for my arrest up there. Mm-hmm. I probably was on the run for like 3 months up there.
That's why you had to leave school?
That's one of the reasons I left. Because I left after I turned myself in the second time. They gave me another court date. I went back. I left. I never went back. I just paid it off from Florida.
Got you. What happened to the dude that threw the weed by your feet?
We still cool to this day. We talk.
Okay. He living life, huh?
Yeah.
He got in any more trouble?
Stayed in trouble. Stayed in trouble. Ain't no joke. I think I did better than he did.
Yeah. When you left Illinois, what was the next school you went to?
Mississippi Gulf Coast.
How long were you there?
3 months.
What happened there?
Couldn't get my transfer because I owed money to West Illinois, so had to leave. And they wanted me. They came and pick me up after I left West Illinois. Gave me a free scholarship and everything. Couldn't even keep it.
Yeah, because of the old balance.
Yeah.
So before you even was able to get on at that school in Kentucky, you had to pay off that other balance. Yeah. So I remember when you went to the school in Kentucky. I actually remember when you went to Illinois. I actually ended up coming to one of those games.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So when you went to Kentucky, was it ever a thought in your mind like this it right here? I gotta make this one happen.
Yeah, man. I remember leaving my mom when she was crying. But listen, I remember I had got tired in the streets a lot. And like right at that time they did a major sweep in my city. And I want to say that if it wasn't for that scholarship, I wouldn't have dodged it. So man, like a lot of things happen in my life and I'd be like, man, it happened for the right reason. I stayed out there for almost 3 years. I went to school, almost had my A, made good grades. All the teachers loved me. But it was like I'm going back home every weekend. I'm on the road back. I'm trying to go back to Perry. I'm trying to link up with somebody. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. Mm-hmm. Because it ain't nothing but a full, maybe 5-6 hour drive from Kentucky. No, I'm gonna say 6-7 hour drive. I jump in the car and go there. Be back in 2 days all day.
Yeah, just you like trying to go back to what you know.
Yeah, and I'll bring it back with me. I bring the Taylor County swagger back with me.
Yeah. Now look, you telling the people how you went to all of these schools playing football. So I'm gonna give you a little opportunity to pop your shit and tell the people how good you were when you played.
Oh yeah.
And give you the opportunity to go ahead and pop it a little bit.
I signed D1, man. They still talk about me. They say I was better than LeGarrette Blunt. You know what I'm saying? I flopped a little bit out there because I didn't do what I was supposed to, but I was him. You can look me up on YouTube. YouTube video got like 5K views on there. Tony Jackson Jr.
Yeah, and that's before YouTube was popping, before YouTube was YouTube.
Before YouTube was YouTube.
Yeah, before they was posting everybody and all of this stuff. So that camera quality not that good, but you can see he get off. So look my brother up.
Look me up.
Yeah. So
thank you for the shout out. I like that.
For sure, man. For sure. You already know. So after you got from school, I remember when you was in Kentucky. I actually remember when you was leaving, you called me and said, I'm on the bus.
Oh.
I just stopped in Orlando and I came and scooped you up and brought you to my house for the night.
Be honest about that.
I already know what happened.
I got on the wrong bus, and they brought me to Orlando. I was like, man, well, the only person I know in Orlando is my big sister. Let me call her. She stayed 10 minutes down the road from the bus station. Yeah. I'm thinking she 2 hours away or something. She right up the road. That was like the best thing that could ever happen.
Yeah, when to scoop my boy up. I already know it. I already know it. So I want to ask you a little bit more about when you started getting in trouble for real that ended up putting you in prison. We can skip over how you ended up on probation because we want to get through this.
Yeah.
I want to talk about after you violated that probation the first time, even the second time, what was the thought process going into the third time? Because they was kind of slapping your hand. The reason why I asked that, because me being an attorney, what I tend to realize is people who get that little slap on the hand, start feeling invincible. That's how I feel. Like it's almost this feeling of, nah, I ain't gonna go. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I wonder, I'm asking you because I wonder, is that the feeling of after the first time and you see they reinstated, you go to thinking like, oh shit, I got this.
It ain't never that. It's like, damn, bro, I'm back out here again. Mm-hmm. All right, you get your feet wet. Yeah. Now you go a little bit deeper in that water. Now you out there swimming. Now you sinking to the bottom. You out there. Yeah. You back lost in the world.
That mindset not changing when you get on them papers. So you still out there in them streets, but you just on paper.
You just try to move it. You just try to move a smarter way. It ain't. Don't get me wrong. Like one day you gonna think like I can't do this anymore. Mm-hmm. Like I'm throwing pebbles compared to a lot of people. 5, 3. I know that like I'm the type of man when I take chances, I want to minimize my chance of doing big numbers. So I ain't gonna do nothing too crazy to give me 10 years, 15 years. But that's how I used to think. But now I learned from being on the inside. Yeah. Man, I saw man with 60s and 70s and been down since the 80s. Man, ain't no more chances. Man, it's over. Mm-hmm. They fly around and give me 10. I can't do that.
Yeah. That because that's a whole lot of time. Now we're gonna talk a little bit about your case. We talked about, so you can tell me about how did you end up going to prison?
Not turning myself in, absconding.
Mm-hmm. How long were you on probation before that?
4 years. 4 years and some change.
And how long you had on papers?
To finish?
Yeah.
I had like 7, 8 months left.
Mm-hmm. Only 7 or 8 months left. And from what I remember, they first said you committed a new crime, right?
Yeah.
And then you wouldn't turn yourself in.
I was terrified.
Even though your big sister kept telling you to turn yourself in.
You told me all the right things, but being the hard head I am, I didn't listen.
Yeah, so I wanna ask you that. When you got to court and exactly what I told you was gonna happen. Because remember I kept on saying, Tony, turn yourself in because they're gonna drop all them charges and charge you with absconding. And then when we walked in there and they literally played out exactly like that, what went through your head?
I played. I said I played. I was ready to go. I said, man, sis, I'm ready. I remember I kept saying, man, they finna send me in prison. Sis, I already know. I played.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. I remember when she said it, I feel like my eyes filled up with water, and he said, "Don't cry, sis. I did this to myself."
I'm a real one. I know.
Yeah, he said, "Don't cry, sis. I did that to myself." I still cried when I got in the car though.
But that's just the brother of the Lord. You can't help it. You seen your brother going down the road. You can't help it.
I still cried when I got in the car though. I'm not even gonna lie. So let me ask you this. So I want to get into how you even ended up on papers.
And riding in the car with my girlfriend, man, my ex, matter of fact. We coming back. We stayed in Tallahassee, went out, saw the Lucha concert, went to the moon, whatever. She worked at McDonald's in Perry. She wanted to speed back to get to the McDonald's in Perry. I'm telling her, why are you speeding? Why are you speeding? You speeding for McDonald's. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I got in the car. She like, babe, I don't want to miss work. That's why I got pulled, because she wanted to speed for McDonald's, but not saying it's her fault, but honestly, that's what it was.
And then you had some things in the car.
Yeah.
Now, before you ended up getting this absconding, how many times had you violated and they reinstated it?
4 times. That's
why I asked if it started feeling invincible. That's why I asked you that.
Because I felt like I learned the law. I can get around it. Yeah. I feel like I was my daddy. I was a street lawyer in my head. I knew the ends out, y'all.
Listen, because he surely is a lawyer, okay? So I get it for sure. Yeah. And I think it's honestly get to the point of I think I can beat that system. I think I can beat it. I can outsmart them.
You feel like you're the smartest man in the world. Once you do it one time, I beat a case by myself. Yeah. That surprised me, sis. I did that in Leon County and I was like, dang, is that easy? Just throw them a case off and they'll throw it out. But it ain't that easy.
Yeah.
It really not that easy.
Yeah, it's some work. What the case that you beat by yourself? How long you sat in Leon County?
9 months.
Okay, and what was that case for?
Possession of marijuana, less than 14 grams.
Was that the one where you got in the car accident?
No, that's the one where I was at Waffle House. I don't house arrest, shouldn't have been out.
Got you. Look, we just named it. Is that the one when this happened? When that happened?
Hey man, you look me up, man. It's a couple of arrests, but I'm beating charges around here. I'm doing good.
Yeah, you out no papers now, so we good. So I do want to ask you something though. So when you found out you had that time, had to go, all of that, boom, you gone down that road. Your first day that you walked in there, what was the first thought that went in your head? Because jail and prison, two different things now.
I keep it 100. Phil, I was scared for my life. I was scared. I was shocked because I'm looking around like, damn, man, bitch, I'm at the mercy of these people.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm at the mercy of somebody else. I ain't never felt like that because I would control my environment.
Yeah.
So me being like learning, like I had to learn how to move in a different environment. I had to learn how to move under somebody else's structure, somebody rules, man. That shit broke me because I don't follow rules. I make my own rules, so that taught me structure in another way I didn't have out here.
Right, honestly. Right. Okay. So let me ask you, how long do you think it took for you to get adjusted to realize how to move in there? Since you say you were scared of trying to kind of figure it out because you in a new environment, how long would you say it took for that adjustment of knowing this is how I need to move in here so that I don't have to operate in fear?
I didn't get comfortable like that until probably like 2 years in. It took me like almost 2 years to really get like that sense of like, man, ain't nothing. I can, man. Like I turned to the dog and You feel me? At a certain point, you get like, man, ain't nobody finna step on me. Ain't nobody finna. At first, I was like, here, bro, man, you want some of this? Just keep a nigga off my trail, here, bro. Here. You want to cut? Yeah, you want 100 bucks on eat? I'll buy you some, bro. You straight?
Yeah.
I bet. All right, bro. Nah, bro. You ain't finna keep going in my locker, bro. But, you feel me? And then at a certain point, you get like, man, fuck, nigga, man, what the hell, man, you don't get your bitch ass around here. You know you, and then you want to you get like that, bro. But I had to combat the reality that I'm not a nigga with 40, 20 years.
Right. That's what Tony always tell me, that when he go in, he feels like he got to change into a different person when he get there. And that's what he hate the most about it.
Because it's hard to break when you come out. Because like, if you don't have a certain type of people around you, you're gonna stay in that type of animal mentality, that mind frame, like living like an animal, bro. That's how you living in that.
Yeah. When you was in there, did you feel like, because I already know you had people you hung with on the outside, was you able to link with anybody that you knew or at least was affiliated with other people you was affiliated with? We'll put it like that.
In the inside?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had a lot of brothers. I had a lot of friends and brothers. A lot of homies come. Not saying a lot of homies came through, but you know what I'm saying? I'm one of the type of dudes that ain't hard for me to get get cool with. You feel me?
Yeah. Now let me ask you this. Who do you think you going to prison affected the most?
My grandma, man. Really, my granny. Man, my granny. There ain't really too many people in the world I could say like word about me how she did. It's an incident happening and like she found out through somebody else. Like I ain't against that and chain gang.
I found out through somebody else.
You feel me? Cause I ain't want y'all to worry. I'm handling my own. But when she found out, she pulled up that weekend and was like, come here, let me see you. I had to make sure you look the same. Yeah. And that let me know how much my grandma really cared because nobody else pulled up and did that. And I was like, man, I got to slow down because this really messing with her head. Yeah. You feel me? That's why I never really called my grandma. I ain't call my grandma for $1. I didn't ask her. I didn't call her a phone because I didn't want her to worry. I mean, the only time I call when somebody be like, grandma looking for you. And I call, be like, grandma, straight. You good. You ain't got to worry about me. You feel me?
If you're comfortable talking about it, what happened when you got stabbed? How you ended up getting stabbed?
All right, it's like this. When you making money or you you move a certain way, you got niggas that won't hate you because they been in alone in you. I'm 2 years in, I'm moving like them. I move like a 10-year vet. So now I'm getting a little money. The dude don't want me with a phone. He don't want me with this because I'm taking out his mouth. He been now 15 doing the same thing, but you so used to storing. I'm not a person you can extort. So what you try to do, you pay a bit to hit me in my sleep. They come in my dorm 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm in my bunk sleep. He hit me in my back. I roll over, chase him out the dorm, take the knife from him and everything. But you peon, you so peon, you play like you ain't had nothing to do with it. So you play sleep. My whole plan is to catch you the next day, but you end up getting locked up the next day. You feel me?
Did they transfer you out of that one?
Yeah, and again, no, not after that. What happened was I didn't check in. I didn't go to the police.
Okay, because I was just about to ask, did you tell that you got stabbed? Because they most of the time transfer you after somebody.
I ain't say a word.
Got you.
I ain't say a word. I stood there, but the officers that knew me, they were like, oh, we know you finna retaliate. So they were watching me heavy. So the first incident that happened when I got caught, I'm at work, they ended up putting drugs in my putting drugs in my locker to get me from around Lake Butler. And that was their way of getting me from around to keep anything from happening.
Got you. Yeah. Got you. So how long were you there after being stabbed before you was transferred out?
Like 2 months. Probably 2 months. I was in the box a month and then out a month.
Got you. Did they send you to the box like right after?
No, I went to the box probably 3 weeks after that happened.
Is that when they took your visitation?
Right. Yeah.
And it was gone for like a year, right?
Yeah.
Got you. So while you was, once they transferred you, where you went to next?
I went to Okeechobee. Okeechobee.
That's where you stayed for the rest of the time?
Yeah, they call it Okeechobee because they get stabbed every day though.
Oh, okay. Because I was just about to say, why you say Okeechobee?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you feel like it was more stabbings and stuff happening at that one than the one they transferred you from?
That's why I saw like a lot of people died.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Dang. Did you ever go to the hole while you was there?
At Okeechobee?
One
time.
Okay. How long you stayed in the hole then?
Like a week.
And you said the first time it was a month?
Yeah, a month.
That's a long time. That's straight up isolation?
2-man cells, 24 hours behind the door.
Oh, so do they just bring you out for your shower?
Yeah, you come out the shower one time a week. 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Got you. What was that experience like of being locked down like that for that long?
I felt like a caged dog. I'm on the flap, yelling through the flap, feed me. Nah, just kidding, man. Nah, like for real though, you behind the door, man. Like you yelling behind the door to the man across the cell. Hey, bro, you got a pen? I ain't got a pen. So now I'm making a fishing line out of yarn with a cut toothpaste container tied on a string, and I'm sliding it on my door for him to tie a pen on it so I can fish it back so I can write a kite to him to tell him what I need. Like you bite up, you struggling, you ain't got nothing back there you need unless they bring it to you.
And you not allowed to get no canteen, no none of that when you in the hall, right?
If you on AC before you go to before you get your DR, you good. But once you go to DC, you only allowed to get a certain amount of food.
Got you. So after you went in there for that 1 week, that time you had enough of that, huh?
Oh yeah, man. I probably at Okeechobee, I was there for almost 2 years. I went to the box one time for 7 days.
Yeah.
Never again.
Yeah, because that's enough to drive you crazy.
Yeah, I like to talk on the phone too much.
Yeah, that's enough to drive you crazy being locked up like that. Let me ask you something. Do you feel like you had the support of family and friends while you was in there?
Man, they swear I was rich. I mean, I talked to my family. They thought my family love me. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. A lot of people ain't got nobody. I know I got somebody. You feel me?
For sure.
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna lie to you. When you was about to come home, I had went to my PayPal. I glanced at them numbers and my head started adding it up. I said, "Don't add it up. Don't add it up."
I'm gonna tell you that I probably ran through 100 bands in the chain gang. Easy.
I can believe.
I ran through 40. I ran through 40 myself in 2023. I know I counted 40, so I know I ran through 100 bands in my sentence.
Yeah, I can believe it.
Yeah.
I can believe it. You lucky to have friends and family that was there. Would you say you had more friends than family, or both? Everybody was staying solid.
Everybody stayed solid.
That's what's
the
up.
main ones. The ones I expected they stay solid.
That's what's up. Yeah. That's what's up. Okay, now we can transition into you getting now. How long you say you've been out now?
20. Let's see. Today made 23 days.
23 days.
23 days on the head.
Yeah. When it came to that countdown, when you was headed on the way out, what you feel like was running through your head, how you was feeling?
And do 1,000 push-ups a day, tire yourself out, make you go to sleep. I don't, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to stay active.
Okay. I know that's right. Trying to make that time pass. Mm-hmm. What you did on your very first day out?
My first day out, man, Airbnb out pool, hit the pool, hung out Longhorn Steakhouse, you know what I'm saying? True Religion outfit, you know what I'm saying? Got clean haircut, iPhone out, all that good stuff.
Yep. Just trying to get straight.
Yeah.
And then you said where you said you went first, the first thing you ate was Longhorn?
Longhorn. Yeah.
Got you a steak?
No, man, little chicken tender. I can't really eat.
Oh, this nigga talking about chicken tender.
Little chicken tender, man. I can't really eat. And strawberry daiquiri. I had to get me a sip in.
Got you a little drink.
Yeah.
You got a little drink. I'm pretty sure, like, I know when you got out, you had your girl that was there and your son was there.
Right.
How was that trying to maintain the contact with your son while you was there, especially with him being so young when you went?
Well, to be honest, my girlfriend actually made it easy because she brought him to visitation at Lake Butler. Because being Perry and Lake Butler probably like no more than like an hour and 20 apart. So they was there almost every other weekend. So that was good. But when I left my visitations, I ain't see him no more until I got out.
Yeah.
Kind of really, I talked to him every chance I got. His mom in a relationship, so I can't really call her like that. So
But when you saw him and all of that stuff, do you feel like, dang, it feel like we ain't miss a beat?
No, man, it's like we got right on point, like that. First it was Tony, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna let him slide for a couple minutes, and then I was like, you gotta call me daddy. He like, daddy, all right, daddy. And then he ain't missed a beat since.
Right. And I wanna, with you saying that, actually, I hope that that's something that'll even keep in your head for you not to go back. Because look at us, of why we call Tony.
Yeah.
And for you to say when you got out that your son was calling you Tony, that should have been like, oof. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like
it bothered me, but I was like, I'm just glad he ain't messing around and call me no other nigga name.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
that's all the thing I worry about. Like,
I get it, but I'm just saying, like, we know it's a certain amount of respect and a certain thing that come with wanting to call somebody daddy and all of that role they play. And so, like, just knowing our daddy been in and out of prison our whole life, just straight up more. He been in more than he been out, and that's why we don't have that certain level of respect that we feel like we gotta call him daddy. So just something to keep in mind. The fact that when you came out, you heard him calling you Tony. That shit should have been like,
all right, I got it.
Tighten up. I can't do this again. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really who getting affected. One of the people getting affected the most.
He's my main reason why I'm trying to switch it up, man. He want to be with me. I want to be with him. I want to, you know what I'm saying? I want to raise my son.
I know that's right, bro. I know that's right. Got to. So now that you out, what's been the journey since you've been home? What's the journey? What you getting into?
Right now I'm on the way, but like, okay, I want to figure out what's the right thing to do. Okay, I want to get a career. I want to work on my music. I want to make sure everything I'm doing is the right thing. Okay, so I'm saying small goals and to get the bigger goals. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm working on, like, I'm getting ready to take an apprenticeship under somebody to learn how to weld. That's the first thing. Okay, now I'm working on my music now because I got that lined up. Okay, now I just go to work on my music. First time coming out, I'm coming to Orlando, hanging out with y'all, do a little radio station thing, go to the studio, record a video tonight. You know what I'm saying? Just get a little promo and just try to make sure everything I do is positive.
I know that's right. Just staying on a positive path and trying not to go back to that old life.
Yeah, man. It's for the birds, man. If you go down the same path every time, you're going to get the same answers every time. So you got to switch it up somewhere.
Definition of insanity, doing the same thing, expecting something different.
Right.
Yeah. So while you was in there, because you're talking about the music and that you're doing music and that's something you picked back up. You was doing music before you came. Was that something to help you pass the time, writing music, stuff like that?
Really, that's the way to vent. That's my way of expressing words that I know I'm not going to be able to get out unless I rap it or say it in a song. Because you ain't going to say the same thing emotionally the same way, or you might not deliver it the same way, you know what I'm saying, unless you actually quote it with a beat in your head or you vibing or feeling the energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, I know one of the questions I ask, I know it's going to sound crazy because it's really nothing positive that comes from prison, right?
Right.
But I always ask, like, what's the biggest lesson that you learned? Like, some people go in prison and find God. Some people, you said you was able to get some structure more and stuff like that. Is structure the biggest thing you learned, or the most positive, or the biggest takeaway you would say, or is it something else?
Really, that was probably like the most positive thing I got out of learning how to like get a structure and order in my life. Cause when I was first out, man, I was chaotic, man. I would go with the flow. Okay, I might be doing it. Okay, I might jump over here now. Leave this alone for like 5 months and come back to it. Now I'm like, man, I don't want this. Here, man, you want this? You want to do this? You want that? Mm-hmm. Like, with that being said, like in chain gang in prison, you gotta wake up at 5 o'clock every morning and be ready for breakfast because you don't know when you're gonna get called. So I got a routine. Okay, I'll get up at 5 and go eat. Okay, I'm gonna stay up. I'm gonna work on my music. Okay, I'm gonna work out now. Okay, by the time I work out, okay, I know it's time for call outs. Okay, I gotta be out for call outs. Go to my call out. I gotta be ready. I gotta be dressed. I gotta be. So you got a routine of getting myself ready, getting clean, keeping myself up, or whatever it might be. You know what I'm saying? Just staying in order. A certain order in your life is not bad. You know what I'm saying? Right. I ain't had no order in my life before. I was wild, man. You know it. I was wild.
Just out here living. Yeah. But now you got a little bit of structure behind it.
Right.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. That's actually a good thing. And really, what you said about setting the goals and all of that, with you having more structure, it'll make it easier for you to achieve those goals because you actually got a path to get there.
Look how I got here, man. Like a lot of people, I'm 23 days out, man. A lot of people can't do it. I'm 23 days out. I'm going good right now.
Yeah.
Doing real good.
For sure. And I know you got already, like you said, you shooting your music video and all of that stuff. So I have just one more question I want to ask you. I always let you leave with, if you want to drop a gem to anybody watching, the youth or anything, of how to make sure you don't go down this path and end up in jail, end up getting incarcerated or whatever it is. What would you tell people that's watching this?
First thing first, stay in school, man. Don't let nobody trick you out your education. Second thing, man, get into a sport, man. That's great bonding, great familiarity with people. You learn people skills, and man, just stay a positive person, man. Everything that look good ain't always sweet, man. Sugar ain't always sweet, man.
And that's real. So, and now I want to say, tell the people how they can get in touch with you. If they want to get in touch with, they want to check out the music, where do they go for your YouTube? Where do they go for your TikTok, your Facebook, all of that good
stuff? TJ Faze, man, LPG Faze, King Faze. Go on Instagram, go on YouTube. You can look me up. TJ Faze, King Faze. Type in either one of them. I'm gonna pull up either way you go.
Okay, then y'all make sure y'all go and check my brother out. Make sure y'all pull him up.
LPG, man, music, LPG family.
All of that. And I think that's going to be a wrap. We're going to go ahead and close it out for that. So I'm going to say thank you all for tuning in to the First Day Out podcast. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. If you would like to come on the show, we'll have all of that information linked below. You can go ahead and send us an email, let us know. And until next time, stay locked in, not locked up. All right.